time of joining me today. The subject I would like to discuss today is about kindness. Kindness that a person has within himself, the inner part of himself, and whether or not this kindness is something which is developed over a period of time, being nurtured, or something that comes from nature itself, where the person actually has it. In life, as you know, there is the concept of nurture versus nature. Nurture is something that is developed, is acquired, acquiesced in a certain way, either by the people that we live around with, the ones that we speak to, or the things that we hear and the things that we learn over the years. Nature, however, is something which is natural and is there from the very beginning. It says that happiness lies in the joy of an achievement and the thrill of the creative effort that a person puts together in their life. Happiness is something that is acquired over a period of years. A child is not happy by nature. It's content, but not happy all the time. They're content with what they have at any given time, wherever they are, whatever they do. Kindness, on the other hand, is something that a person has within themselves. Within each person, there are two sides. There's a kind part and there is a severe part. The severity lies in the fact that a person has within themselves this will to make sure that things happen, although something will happen in a productive way. They want to make sure that it happens in the way that they believe is appropriate. Often, for instance, we will use severity to make sure that happens. For instance, an employer. If an employer gives directives to the staff and the staff doesn't follow those directives and things don't happen the way that the employer believes is appropriate, necessary, or productive, the employer might get upset. That's the severity that comes out that makes this person become either mad, throw a temper tantrum, or flies off the handle, as it's often referred to. The colloquialism that we use in determining a patient or defining a person who is losing their cool, who is becoming above and beyond what they're supposed to be, the type of person that they are, is where at that moment they use the severity within themselves. The strict judgment of a person is what determines within themselves the part that is no longer dealing with the kindness. Kindness, on the other hand, has patience. Kindness is the innate part of you that looks at any situation in a positive manner, but often with a calculated outcome. Severity pushes things around, kindness puts it back together. Severity does it in a fast way, kindness does it in a slow way. The question is, which part is the most important? What do we use? Should we use kindness or should we use severity? It says that in true kindness sometimes there is severity. For instance, if a child was to cross the street, a 3-year-old was to cross the street, and this was your child, and you were holding their hand, and for whatever reason you let their hand go so that you could reach in your pocket to get something, and the child was to run across the street by themselves and almost get hit by a car, you would be so upset. The person would run after the child, spank them, and that severity within them, that part of you that says you cannot do this, it's the cruelty within that kindness, which is true kindness. In other words, I'm not being cruel, but the reason why I became so angry, so upset, above and beyond my normal nature, day-to-day person, is because the child was going to hurt themselves. So if we attribute this cruelty within kindness, then we see that true kindness has within it cruelty. I'll give you another example. You have an older child, a teenager, who does things that is inappropriate. things that are not according to the norms that the parents have raised them. We've all gone through this. Ourselves, and then we see children doing that. To their parents, to ourselves, to friends, to families, neighbors, acquaintances. And we say, why would you do that? Why would you be so mean? Why would you go against the will, the wishes of your parents? Why would you do that? This cruelty that the child has is often misguided, but in the event that they understand what they're doing, they don't realize that they're doing it to hurt the other parent or the person that they're dealing with. Talk about another employee. Let's say an employee comes to work late. They have issues. Employee has issues with a child, sometimes with a spouse, sometimes with just traffic, just being late because of traffic. They got to the office because of traffic, and they were late. The employer may look at this and say, this is not the way to run this office. And the employer may be upset about that. The employer wants the best for the office, and of course he wants to make sure the profits are there. And to make sure the profits are there, we have to ensure at the end of the day that all patients or all treatments and all services are rendered appropriately so that we can indeed see the rewards of being on time. Now, when the person chastises another and says, you should not be doing this, within that kindness there is cruelty, but within that cruelty there's also kindness. I don't want you to lose your job, and therefore I'm helping you. I don't want you to be reprimanded, so I'm telling you now, you must be on time. It's the same thing we do also with our children. I don't want you to go in the wrong direction, because if you do, you're going to get hurt. The things that you're going to do, you will regret later. You may not understand it, you may not like it, you may not even see it, but it's necessary. When you see a parent holding a child, and holding them tightly, as though they are hurting them, and someone else may look at them and say, you're hurting that child. But then if you look closer, you find out that the reason why the parent was holding the child so tight was because right next to them there was a physician with a syringe that was going to inject them. And the child may say, please get me out of this. What are you doing? I'm going to be hurt. You're not doing anything to help me. But in reality, a few minutes earlier, the child was bitten by a poisonous snake, and it needs an antidote. It needs a medication. This child needs immediate care. So right at first, what we see is the fact that a doctor is coming in with a syringe to hurt the child. The child feels totally helpless. And anyone looking at this situation thinks, this child is abusing the parent, the child is being abused by the parent, and the doctor is going to hurt the child. But when we look deeper into the situation, we find out this is all due to true kindness. Same thing when it comes to teenagers. When we see a parent speaking to the teenager and say, what are you doing, my son? Why are you being so difficult, my daughter? Why? It's all about kindness. And the same thing we do with our patients. When we tell a patient, you must show up on a regular time. You must appoint yourself some kind of a calendar so that you're here and get your treatment. By giving the patient the directives that we need to, the child, the parent, the case of the relationship that exists between employees, the relationship that exists with the patient, understands the reason why you're doing that. That understanding, this strictness, comes with the fact that a person must at all times direct everything in life. So yes, it's true. In kindness there is cruelty. That severity comes for goodness of the person. So now going by. How do we find inner peace? Am I a kind person or am I a cruel person? How do we find that peace? How do we deal with the concept that others maybe see us as a kind person and others say, you're a cruel person? Which one is it? Which one really is the part that is truly you? Truly that person that you are? Know that inside each person Each and every one of us have the ability to be whatever we want to be. And we have the ability to overcome any challenge at any given time and lead an extraordinary life. That is an initial premise that you must understand. Second, you must know at all times that you have complete control over the way you react on any given day for any given situation. Last but not least, the answer to every single problem that happens in your life, every single challenge, every difficulty that comes your way, comes with its solution. And you can find it, and you can do it, and you can accomplish it successfully. If you take a moment and look into the situation with kindness. If you do it with cruelty, if you do it with severity, you won't reach it. Not only that, you might even hurt a few people in the meantime. So kindness is an extremely important component. So what should we do? Should we act kindly towards everyone? Or should we act in a severe way towards everyone, in a cruel way? Which is more important? And how do we know when to be kind, when not to be kind? So I'm going to give you a few steps that need to be taken. This is so important because this is the way that we react with our patients, and often is the success of a practice, or God forbid, the demise of a practice. This is the way that a person needs to establish their life on a regular basis, on an irregular day, on any given hour of the day. You must establish systems on the nature of the person that you want to be. And you have to establish that limit, realization of who you are and what you want to be. The only limit you need to know to the realization of the things that you want to do in your life, the realization of tomorrow, is the doubt that you have today. That's the only thing stopping you from that. If you have a doubt today, tomorrow, you will not be able to realize this dream. To be a person that's productive, to be a person that's giving, to be a person that's successful in every aspect, economically, financially, socially, in every professional way that you want it to be, whether it is in our home, with our friends, with our families, with our colleagues, or with ourselves, you have to establish premises. So knowing, as we said earlier, the three things, that everything that happens to you, you will be able to overcome. 2, you have the power within yourself to change it and make it happen. And 3, whatever comes along the way, the solution is given at the same time as the problem. What can you do? How do you do that? How do we master that? The first is to start with kindness. As children grow up, when they're young, they are not kind. A child truly is cruel, if you think about it. Look at a child playing. It's my toy, it's my time, and I don't care what you do, it's me. A child is extremely selfish. It's a baby. They do not care about anybody. They eat, they do their needs, and just want to be fed more when they're tired. When they want to sleep, they just lay down and sleep. Wherever they are, nothing around them matters. As they grow up, they become even more selfish. They want the toy. They want the attention. They want to be carried. They want to be given. It's only as we grow older that we develop a certain sense of balance. This balance is a balance between the kindness and the severity. The kindness and the cruelty. The kindness and the selfishness. It is important for an office to run properly. The leader of that office and the people that are the team leaders, as well as all the employees, to work together. They have to work in unison in making sure that every single person acts with kindness, and kindness should be backed with patience, not reason. You do not need a reason to be a kind person. You just have to be. Period. Why? Because. Period. No reason. You must have a reason, however, to be cruel. You can't just be cruel for any reason. So kindness demands no explanation. Cruelty, severity, demands an explanation. For me to be kind, to give you a present, to love you, to share with you, to be in any way possible giving you everything that I have, there is no reason for that. There is no need, and there is absolutely no explanation. But for cruelty to come in, for severity to kick in, that I have to have a reason. And it has to be backed with something that makes sense. Not just to me, but to the other person as well. So as you can see, kindness is at the root of every single person. But eventually, it will turn into severity if you don't control it. Into cruelty if you don't direct it. The secret of life is to know who you are and where you're going. That's the biggest secret in life. Because once you do that, then you can not only affect yourself, your life, your day, the people around you, but also the whole world. You can make a difference. You can change things beyond imagination. You have that power within you. The world, it says, stands on a scale. At any given day, any given moment. Positive or negative. One good deed and the scale tips to the side. Unfortunately, one negative deed, even the weight of a feather, tips the scale the other way. If you realize that, you live with this on a daily basis, you will at all times make sure that what you're doing is appropriate, is kind, is controlled, is focused, is giving, is sharing. That's what it is. And that's what it's all about. So kindness is an important component of your life. Kindness is an important and determining factor in the type of office, in the type of patience, in the type of life you're going to lead, and you're going to have, and you're going to develop. It is impossible to develop a successful office if you are arrogant and if you use tremendous amount of power that you have to get there. If you find any single one successful person, you will find that they are giving, they are generous, they are kind, they are polite, they are professional, they're extremely exchanging of life. Them, me, you, we're the same. They exchange anything with anybody. You want my shirt? I'll give it to you. What would you like? How can I help you? The most successful people in the world are the giving people. Now, is it that they became successful because they gave, or did they give so much that eventually they became successful? That's a whole different story. I can tell you for a fact, however, that you will never find an extremely successful person who is not loved and liked by everyone. It's amazing. Really, truly amazing. The ones that are truly successful, not only financially, but also spiritually, that are loved by everybody, are the giving people, the kind people. Kindness will take you to infinity. Severity, cruelty will only get you so far. So you're right, when you do come to the office and you set the rules and say, I will not agree to this, and if anyone is late one more time, I will fire you. That's severity, that's cruelty. But if it's not done with kindness, your office won't be successful. No one will listen. No, they'll keep on coming late. Why? Because you didn't do it with kindness. Because within kindness, there's also respect. There's also understanding. There's also patience. Kindness is a bubble of goodness. Severity is just a sharp knife that comes in and just hurts everywhere. Severity is only necessary when a potential danger is there. Otherwise, it shouldn't be there. I've mentioned to you many times that in my office, I try to be as open and as giving and as sharing and as understanding as I can be. My staff comes in when it's appropriate. Although we have hours that they should come in, hours that they should leave, I leave it up to them to make that decision. I also leave it up to them to make however much money that they want, that they can, that they need. I give them a chart, a bonus, and I say, if these are all the things that you can do, this is how much you'll make, and you'll be successful. If not, you won't make as much money as that. You can be kind. You can find the inner peace within yourself and the kindness that you wish and share it with others. You have to train. It's not something that comes automatically, and it's not given to everyone. Very few people you will find by nature are just kind. Because by nature, each and every one of us was a child. Each and every one of us started with this cruelty, this selfishness, this brat type of kid. Every one of us was that. Later on, we grew. Very, very few of us were given this kindness from the very beginning. But it's something that can be nurtured, not natured, but nurtured. And that nurturing that you can do at any given age, it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 50, 70, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you're the owner, the director, or an employee. It doesn't matter if you're the parent or the child. It doesn't matter if you're the brother or the sister, the spouse or friend. It does not matter. You have it within yourself to make this happen and make it in such a way where you can correct what you want. We said many times that the winds blows on every single one of us. How you set your sails is what makes a difference. How you can adjust the sails to go in the direction that you want, that's what makes a difference. But the wind blows on every one of us. So each and every one of us have had that childhood with this type of selfishness, cruelty. It's all me. Help me, give me, I want, I need. But later on, some of us have chosen the path of giving, sharing, helping, loving. Others have chosen the path of strictness and severity and cruelty. That balance is necessary. However, in almost all types of situations, kindness is what comes first. If you treat your patients with kindness, but have the direct effect on them, they will also be kind to you. They will also listen to you. They will also believe in you. And the same will happen with your children. The same will happen with your family. The same will happen with your spouse. It's all over the place. I hope this message is one that comes to your heart. Because the words, it says, that come from the heart enter the heart. I've spoken from my heart. And I share with you thoughts, concepts that have been taught to me when I was a young boy. And having gone through clinics, I've been a consultant for many years to hundreds and hundreds of doctors, been a coach and a friend, been a parent, grandparent. Seeing all these things have taught me so much in my life that often I look back and wish I had done it a little different to make it better. But then I realize the past is the past. Today is what matters. And today, we know what it's called. It's called the present. Why? Because as the saying goes, it's a gift from God. So it's called the present. And it's given to you to do what you wish and to make a difference in this world. To make a difference in your life. To make a difference with all the people around you. In every single circle that you meet. You be the kind person. You be the one that goodness comes from. My mother, may she live well, has always said, don't you ever be the one to start something that will cause problems. Don't start it. Somebody else did it, not your fault. But don't you ever be the one to start the goodness to turn into bad. Don't ever start problems. Don't you be the one to do that. And my mother, may she live well and she live long, has stood by that and has taught me that. And so I hope and pray that you learn from this kindness, that you share with others, that you give to others. Give of yourself, give of your life, give of your knowledge, give of your ability, give of your money, give of anything that you have. And as the saying goes, if you help other people get what they want, you'll have everything you need. God bless you with kindness and goodness, and happiness and joy and everything that you need, in prosperity, in good health, and with abundance, both materially and spiritually, for you, your life, for your patients, your co-workers, your colleagues, your family, and most of all, so that God can see from heaven that you are that good person, that the world was created for you, but it was a good thing, and that indeed you could make this place where goodness resides, where godliness abounds, and where sharing with one another becomes the motto of our lives. Thank you very much.